Okay, so I'm on air. This is my first ever podcast episode, and this is a live stream. So I'm recording this live, and I have 0 listeners, which is honestly how I prefer it because, sorry, it's loud where I am, because I get stage fright and I don't like to speak in front of lots and lots of people. In any event, I wanted to speak about briefly, maybe just for a few minutes, about the mundanity of the kind of earth, the earthly realm, maybe like the third dimension, the three-dimensional realm of reality. And I have this idea uh, that I wanted to speak about, which is about the highest good according to the human mind or the human perception. And I have this idea that the highest good is something which is not common to everything good, as kind of the Platonic forms are, the kind of heavenly prototype of everything which shares the common good, but rather these very earthly, tangible, real, material, superlative evidences of good, or instances of good, or entities of good. And of course, it depends on what we define as good. I would kind of be along, I would maybe identify myself along a similar kind of line of reason as Plato, that the good and the beautiful are essentially one in the same. And so the highest good is essentially that which is the most beautiful. But instead of kind of looking towards the heavens, we look to the earth and see what around us is the highest good. And it's not to say that there isn't some kind of metaphysical entity that there isn't some kind of metaphysical entity that transcends the material form of that which is good, but just that perhaps the metaphysical identity of these things which are earthly, which we can sense, which we identify as good, maybe they're kind of metaphysical countertypes or uh, embedded forms are more or less similar or of the same makeup as them, just existing on a different plane of reality, so that perhaps the entity which is divine and beautiful, which is the good itself, the highest good itself, perhaps it is actually the earthly form, and that the ghostly kind of like metaphysical spiritual form of this high good, this high beauty, is a different dimension of reality. And so, in my estimation, of course, I'm a pagan. I worship the sea. I worship the sea god. I worship the old gods, the old spirits that our human ancestors, our human cultures and societies discovered and communicated with at length. And so, of course, I believe, it is my opinion, that the sea is the highest good, that it is singular, and that the reason it is the highest good is because it has nothing in common with anything else that is good. It is completely unique. It is completely singular. There will never be a sea or an entity like the sea, nor has there ever been a sea like the sea. And what makes the sea beautiful is its utter singularity. And that what makes the God beautiful is the utter singularity of the God, that there is no equal, there's no equivalent, there's no replica of it. And that itself has to be the highest good, because when you think of that which is common to everything good and common to everything beautiful, it's a kind of a common denominator. It's a quality or a trait or a characteristic which is a common denominator to everything which is good and everything which is beautiful, which means that it thereby cannot be the highest good. That is more of a common good, even a lower good, I would say. This quality, this kind of Platonic quality, which pervades everything which is good, is, of my opinion, it's not the highest good, but more of a common lower good. So the highest good is that which is irreplicable, that which can never be common to anything else. And, in my kind of animist pagan worldview, that's the sea. That's like the sea god. The earthly sea, because it's so special, it's so unique. I don't even know if you could say it about the sun. And of course, I'm confining the conversation to this earthly realm because that's what we know so well as humans. And I think it's really intelligent to use our knowledge as human beings on the earth, to inform and help us understand the world of the gods. Um, and so I think that the earthly sea is even more singular, even more unique than even the sun, because there's millions of stars, right? There's suns all over the universe that are probably similar, if not identical, to the sun, which we worship and which we love and which loves us and gives us life. But the trajectory of the earth is completely, utterly singular and utterly unique and utterly good. And I think that this is like kind of the philosophical key, in my opinion, to understanding the world and the metaphysics of the gods. That there isn't necessarily a moral good, a moral bad. There is just that which is irreplicable. There are entities which are uh, without replica, which are without contest, which are without equal. And good or bad, they are the highest, the superlative, like craft, maybe even of the creative potency, the creative energy and flow of the gods. However you want to name and understand the gods. But that's just kind of my understanding. But I've been sitting with this idea for a really long time, and it's a very human thing to approach the world from this need to determine what is good, what is good, what is not good, that which contains good, that which is absent of good. And I turn towards more, no, I wouldn't say like an amoral understanding, because it's not amoral at all, because here I'm declaring that the sea is the highest good because of the singularity of the sea. But I don't necessarily know if like these concepts of good or not good or are useful. I don't know if you can look at an entity as violent as the sea, because the sea is profoundly violent. I mean, think of a singular entity on the planet which is more violent than the sea. The sea is more violent than even a volcano. The sea gives birth to the volcanoes, right? Like the sea gives birth to everything that is superlatively violent, and yet it's also of the most profound tranquility. Like when you, I mean, I seek the sea out literally wherever I go, because I'm a sea worshiper. So I've seen the sea before a hurricane. I've been on the beach in front before the sea god, before a hurricane, when there was no one else there, and like I have seen firsthand, face to face, one on one, intimately, these facets of the earthly sea force, this force of the sea god. And it truly, it fills you with an awe that is that you just cannot. I don't think you can experience it before any other god or any other kind of energy or spirit or entity. And when people speak about their profound fear and terror of the sea, it is like so, superlative. Like the fear of the deep sea, I think probably rivaled only by the fear of like empty space. And yet space is mostly empty and the sea is not. Like the sea is like, Homer calls the sea the barren sea, the salt sea, and yet it is the opposite of barren. It is everything. It has everything within it. Everything that has ever lived on earth. Everything that has ever evolved into a life force came from this sea god. So anyway, those are my thoughts for my first podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll probably be posting this somewhere. Thank you. Thank you, my one listener. You are blessed. You are very blessed. I'll probably just be posting this somewhere on YouTube, maybe. I don't know. Just thoughts for the day. Anyway, hope you all have a blessed evening, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.